Hello, and welcome to the weekly Q&A session with me, Sarah Curto, your resident, career management specialist, fancy way of saying career coach. I'm excited to talk about today's topic, so you want to quit, and all of the things that you need to do when you have those thoughts so that you are quitting for the right reasons and with all the information you need to do it. Hi, Jennifer. I'm on my laptop today, so I can see things. I can probably maybe interact a little bit more, so it'd be great. So first of all, I like to sort of do the week in the life updates before we jump in. So first of all, I would love it if you know of anyone who would find value in anything that I talk about in these Q&A sessions, or just having those sort of daily inspirational or articles that I write and or share, or just, talking to me through a Discover Your Career Strategy call, anything. If you feel that there's anyone in your life or that you know of that could find value, please share my website, my Facebook page, because at the end of the day, I got into this because I want to help as many people as possible. And that's why I create so much different types of content, because I want to help people at every level in terms of where they can afford or in terms of when they may need the assistance. Sometimes you just need to see something that someone's in your corner, or that someone is thinking about you and your career as well. So please share. That would be great. I would really appreciate that. The other thing I want to talk about is in 2 weeks, in the Halton location of the library, in Brant Hills Library. And so if you're in Halton, Brant Hills Library for the Burlington Public Library, I'll be doing the Master the Interview workshop. I love this workshop. Let me tell you a little bit about it. So what we do is the first 30 minutes to an hour is me downloading everything that I know about the interview. You really get to see how I overthink everything about it, and how you can use that to your benefit. The other thing I like to do during this Master the Interview workshop is to do little breakout sessions. So people will pair off. I come prepared with questions, harder interview questions, not just like, what is your weakness, but what is your weakness on steroids type questions, so that you can practice with someone. I'll walk around, talk through things with individuals, and then we all sort of come back and we talk about how it went. Any challenges people found, what they liked, what they didn't like, what they maybe have learned through going through that process. So those are all the things I like to cover off in the Master the Interview. I have thought about doing some of these workshops online for those that don't live in the Burlington or who can't come out to Burlington. So but I'm only going to do it if it is something that people would actually want. So if it is something that you want, please, you can comment here. You can email me at coachsarah@sarahcurto.ca, no H's, or message me on Facebook, anything. Just let me know, and then we can get that started if it's something of interest. Okay, let's get into it. So you want to quit your job. But before you do that, you have to think, okay? And this is for people who want to just quit, like they're ready, done, just want to get out of here, or people who, I want to quit, but I want to find another job before I quit. So it's for those two types of people. And even if, say, you've been laid off, or you are in a job search, or even thinking about a career change, there's a lot of information that I want you to think about before you even get started, or kind of as your your first step towards realizing that. So the first thing when you want to quit is going to seem, self-explanatory, but you need to think of why. Why is it that you want to quit? So typically the reason why people change jobs are boss or people. It is location. It is Career development, there's no chance of career development. It's company name, they want to work, or company culture. It is things like money. Usually one of the few last things, it seems like a number one, but it's not the number one. So these are the reasons why people want to leave, but you need to sort of drill deeper. So if it's your boss or if it's the people, what is it about them? Okay, if it's the company culture, what is it about the company culture? And there's a few reasons why I want you to really dig deep on this. Number one is it something you can change? Okay, so if it's a career change and you want to work in a different role, can you stay working with the company but just change roles? Is the job you want a job within that company? If it's the manager, this is why it's the number one reason why people leave. It's very hard to change the manager. But there could be ways in which you change how you interact with them that may make things a little bit easier. And the whole goal of this exercise to see if you can change anything isn't, just like with my article, How to Love the Job You Hate, the purpose isn't to keep you in a job or a company that is in alignment with what you want. The purpose is for you to feel like you have done everything. And it also gives you a lot of information that you will use throughout the process. So the other reason why I want you to do this is I want you to make sure that you don't run away so quickly from this job that you run into another job that has a lot of the same problems. So by you really figuring out what is it about my boss that I don't like, will allow you to come up with some questions to ask your next future boss to sort of ensure that you don't run into the same type of management style, if that is the reason why. Another common reason is the work-life balance is a big one right now. So that you're being overworked in your current company culture is that you arrive at 7 and you leave at 7. And if you sort of work any less, you're considered not a good employee. Well, you're going to want to make sure you don't go to another company like that. And that you're not just taking the first offer because it is an offer. You're taking the offer because it is going to solve the problem of the reason why you want to quit. I hope that makes sense. If you have any other questions about looking at the why, please let me know. Okay, now that you know your why, it's time to get ready for the job search. So I have the job search roadmap, and I created it for a reason. I created it because I knew for myself that having that structure would allow me to sort of check off the appropriate boxes that would keep me on the right path towards finding the next position or my dream position. So the first step is that introspection piece. You've looked at the why you want to quit, but now you need to reevaluate you to see if what is important to you so that you can determine the right job, the right company culture, for you to determine what are your motivations. So I do this through a variety of exercises with individuals. Number one is always the self-assessments. And those are things like Myers-Briggs or StrengthsFinder, Enneagram, any sort of assessment that really helps peel back the layers so you can do some like deep digging on who you really are and gain some more self-awareness. Jennifer did. She did, after she was laid off 3 years ago, she did a page of what she liked about her boss and 3 pages of what I didn't like. I had no idea of the extent of either one. And I like how you did what you liked and you didn't like, Jennifer, because to back up a bit, if you hate your boss, and there are some horrible bosses out there. Gaslighters is a big one, especially if you're a female employee working in a very male-dominated industry. Gaslighting does exist. And the problem is if your boss is horrible, it does discolor everything you talk about from that. So it is good to talk about what you liked, what you didn't like, so that during times of hatred, I guess, or when that negativity is starting to overtake you, you can revisit what you liked about your manager. Okay, so the good part of the introspection piece. The other part of the introspection piece is the interests, motivations, and skills that I've talked about. So what do you love to do? What have you always loved to do? What are your motivating factors right now? And what are the skills that you bring to the table or that you can further develop? Okay. Okay, good. I'm glad you didn't hate her. And yeah, not every boss can be great bosses, but they might not be the right boss for you right now. And I've noticed that too. Some managers, there are certain points in a career where you really want someone who pushes you, and certain points in a career where you want someone who maybe just gives you a little bit more autonomy. So the other part of the introspection, so the self-assessment, and then you would get into things like career planning and career goals, where you see yourself in 5 years, and then how can you get there so that you can come up with some career options. Also taking a look at the industries you want to look at, the locations that you want to look at, the companies within those locations and within those industries that really suit what you want for your next career. Then you get into your marketing plan. So everyone thinks you start with a resume. Usually there needs to be a little bit of self-reflection before you jump into your marketing document, so you know what you should be marketing. And then marketing documents are your resume, your cover letter, and your social media strategy. So mostly LinkedIn, but if you are very savvy on LinkedIn, that could extend to other social media channels like Twitter or Facebook. Even is a great one for career networking groups, like the one for Halton Region. And then you're going to get into your job search itself. 70% of jobs are found through networking. 70% of jobs are never posted. So therefore, 70% of your time should be devoted to some networking-like activities. If you sign up for the Dream Career Planner, I do talk a little bit more about what those activities look like. And then other things for the job search are like job boards. There are things like job fairs, recruitment agencies. So it's all the places where the jobs sort of happen, how you find and be considered for job opportunities. And then the last piece of my job search roadmap is getting hired. So obviously part of that is the interview process. So this is a big part of the process that really requires a lot of different abilities to answer a lot of different types of questions, and to really understand a lot of the why. I really like to look at the motivations of the interviewers to get at why are they asking the question, because it helps you prepare more for the types of answers or how they want you to frame your answers to really resonate with them. So thinking about things beyond just looking at a list of behavioral questions, or looking beyond just what your strengths and weaknesses are. Also, part of getting hired is the references. Usually they expect 2 if they do them, 1 supervisor at least. And then obviously negotiating the salary for the offer, which is the great thing. And then what people tend to forget is like onboarding. The first 3 to 6 months of your new job is key. And the longer you've been either looking for a new job, or the longer you've been in a company, the harder the transition can be. So I'm big on preparing yourself emotionally, if you can't tell. But when you prepare yourself for the obstacles that you may put in place, that will naturally be put in place, in terms of learning a new job, learning a new company, learning a new team, or maybe industry, allows you to already put in place ways to handle that obstacle, so that when it happens, you're not floundering. You already know how you're going to handle it. And so it just means you're going to more than likely be successful. Okay. So to learn more, I have obviously the job search roadmap is like the foundation of a lot of what I talk about. Sort of all of my plans in terms of articles and everything come from there, especially a lot of the free resources. So let me list them off, and I'm going to also share them all. I have the job search roadmap email course, which I am thinking of changing up a little bit. So would love some feedback on that too. But anyway, I have the email course. It's a 5-day email course that goes through all 4 in more detail. I have the resume checklist for writing your resume. I have the 20 niche job boards for some job boards idea that's a little bit outside of the box to make sure you're covering off all the appropriate bases for the types of jobs you're looking for. I have the Dream Career Planner, which allows you to come up with sort of a plan of action. And also within that, I talk a lot about the networking and networking activities that are important for your job search. So those are the free resources. Obviously, if you are if you're struggling in any way in sort of this piece of it, I work with individuals on a la carte pieces or support them throughout the whole process. But also even just doing the Discover Your Career Strategy calls. Sometimes, like I've had so many calls where just talking it through with someone who knows the job search and knows the job market offers clarity or validates some of their feelings. So especially if you are having a lot of naysayers in your life, but you just know that this is the right move for you, like I'm unbiased, and if you haven't spoken with me, I can be pretty blunt and pretty honest. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. I'm not going to tell you, I'm not a yes person, so I'm not going to tell you it's a good idea if I don't think it is. I will give you all of the information that I know so that you can make the decision for yourself. And sometimes that's what the Discover Your Career Strategy call is all about. So I can help with any or all of the job search roadmap. Now I want to talk about some practical tips of what you need to do, what you need to look at, what you need to look for as you're starting to think about quitting. Okay. First, look at your offer letter. Okay. You're going to look at a few different things. You're going to look at your non-compete, which is pretty much not allowing you to work for a competitor. So I want to talk to you about this for a few reasons. Number one, this could definitely impact the types of companies you can go to. So a non-compete would be, say, if you worked at one of the big 5 banks, maybe they say you can't work at another. You want to take a look, have people moved? Because probably if you work at CIBC, you know people who have left to go to one of the other 4. So chances are it's not something that they would pursue. But you need to know that. If you know that they maybe will take you to court for it, then you need to go to a lawyer. Find an employment lawyer who can work through that with you. Now, if you have been laid off or are no longer working, the non-compete is pretty much null and void, okay? Because I don't know any employment lawyer, please, if you watch this, or if anyone else knows of any time it hasn't held up in court. In my experience, from my HR knowledge, in Ontario at least, a non-compete will not hold up in court because a company cannot prevent you from earning a living. So your previous company, okay? But you need to read it so that you can understand the policy. Also take a look at the notice period. So in Ontario or in Canada, the average is 2 weeks notice. It will be in the termination section of the employment offer. And most are the 2 weeks. However, sometimes management positions are more. So a management could be 4 weeks. A director level could be 4 to 6 weeks. I've done, the longest one I ever had was at the president level, was for one of my executive searches, and he had a 3-month notice period. So, but he almost gave 6 weeks, and it would have cost him a lot of money because of the fact that he signed an employment contract. So 3 months was his. So you want to take a look at that so you are aware when you're interviewing with the company and they ask you, when can you work? You don't tell them 2 weeks notice, but actually you need 4 weeks. So just an easy, simple thing to just confirm. The other thing, and I say this now because now is the time to look at your bonus information. So if your company, we're in November right now, if your company has a year-end December 31st, or if you're watching this at any other time, another common for like government, even though they don't do bonuses, it's like March 31st, is the fact that every company's bonus eligibility is different. So you need to look at yours. Say it's the year end December 31st. They figure out the bonus numbers February, they pay it out March or April. So that is a pretty common bonus trajectory in terms of timing. So some companies have your eligibility as you are an employee as of December 31st. That means come January 1st, you could quit and still be eligible for your bonus, even if it's not paid out until March, April. Okay, again, confirm all this with an employment lawyer. But from my understanding, that is how that offer letter would hold up. But there are many offer letters, and there are many people who assume that, oh, January 1st I can quit because the year end is December 31st. But there are many offer letters that state you must be an employee at the time of bonus payout or at the time of bonus determination. There will generally be a date within your employment contract. If it's not there, it'll be in the employee handbook that will state your eligibility for that bonus. And that will definitely come to play depending on how big your bonus is. I know companies where their bonus is like 50 to 60 grand, and at a management level. This is not even executive. So that's like big money. So you don't want to quit thinking you'll still get that money. And so that may impact when you start your job search because you want to make sure you keep that money. So the offer letter to check out, non-compete, notice period, bonus information. The other thing is start cleaning your digital files. So if you have a company laptop or even if you really do a lot of work on there, even if you just use your Outlook for a lot or your company computer to save like little documents, start cleaning that out, emailing the stuff to you or saving it on a USB, just in case. You never know. And if you quit and they walk you out, because sometimes that happens, you're not like, oh no, all my stuff, all my files. Okay, so start cleaning the digital files. A big one is don't start slacking. No matter how badly you want to quit, these people will still be references. Okay, so don't just start thinking, oh my gosh, I don't care, I'm leaving, so whatever, I'm just gonna sort of half-ass it for a while. No, you still want to show up, you still want to do your best, and that positive attitude and that work ethic will trickle down into your job search. If you start slacking everywhere and have this negative attitude, you know how I feel about negative attitudes. They're not good. Okay, don't tell your manager. So this is, a lot of people feel very differently about this. All recruiters will tell you, don't tell your manager. Okay, as soon as you tell them you're leaving, they start thinking about you as sort of like with an expiration date. What if a good job never comes around? What if things change and you decide to stay? your manager all of a sudden is questioning your loyalty because you've told them you're going to leave, questions your commitment, and starts withholding opportunity from you because what is the point? Maybe you're not leaving now, but who's to say you won't leave in 6 months or a year? So don't tell your manager. No matter how good of a relationship you have, you can maybe, if you have a very good relationship, perhaps you can tell them during the final interview stages, okay? And you don't even have to say, I've been searching for a new job. You can say, someone reached out to me about a job, or someone emailed this job to me because they knew it's everything I've ever wanted, to sort of lessen the blow if you guys are really close. But you don't want them to start questioning your loyalty. But if you're on contract and you're nearing the end of your contract, so about 6 weeks out, you want to have a conversation about extension anyway. And then at that point, if there's no extension, it is completely okay for you to tell them, well, I'm going to start looking for a job, because that's contract. That's different. But if you're a permanent employee, please do not tell your manager. The other thing is start sneakily connecting with people on LinkedIn, so that you don't lose contact with them. LinkedIn is a great place to sort of have passive contact with everyone within your network. So that is a good thing to do, is just, and you can simply say, like, joke about it. Oh, I'm finally going to start, if you aren't already, finally, jumping on the LinkedIn bandwagon and signing up for it, or thinking I should finally get more than 5 connections. You can joke about it as a way to sort of ease suspicion. But I would think it's a good idea to just start that. So you want to quit your job. What you're going to do, you're going to look at the why you want to quit the job. And then you want to, and what, and more. You want to keep digging until you really get to the bottom of why is it that this isn't the right place for you. Then you're going to get ready with the job search roadmap. And I'll link to all those freebies I discussed. And then you're going to look at some of the practical tips. Okay, you're going to look at your offer letter. You're not going to tell your manager. You're going to clean up all your digital files. You're going to not start slacking. You're going to still show up and do your job, because after all, it is your job to do your job. Hope that helps, everyone. If you have any other questions about any of that piece, especially even if the offer letter stuff, and definitely if there's any questions, you can reach out and I can refer you to an employment lawyer, or if you know of any friends who are an employment lawyer, that would be great for them to look at it. But any questions or anything at all, if you want to schedule a Discover Your Career Strategy call, just, talk things through, feel free to let me know. Happy hunting, everyone. Have a great day. Bye.